Greetings and welcome to another astonishing episode of Comic Conversation.
Pulling out the big words.
We've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get started.
Comic Conversation!
First up, we have Star Wars Darth Vader #1 by Kieran Gillen and Salvador LaRocha. This is part of Marvel's new Star Wars line of comics, and not to be confused with the other Star Wars comic that they have going on right now by Jason Aaron and John Cassidy. But I would suggest you read that book before you read this one, because the two stories sort of go hand in hand. Anyway, this story picks up with who else but Darth Vader as he travels to his home planet of Tatooine to visit Jabba the Hutt. They get into a little bit of an argument. They're trying to negotiate a deal of some sort, and they're just not seeing eye to eye. The scene is pretty awesome. It's very reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, where Luke comes to visit Jabba, and that doesn't go very well either. Pissed off. I should mention that this story and all the Marvel Star Wars stories take place right after Episode 4 and right before Episode 5 begins. So basically that first Death Star has just been destroyed during this book, and the Emperor is looking for somebody to blame, and he blames Darth. That conversation doesn't go so well, and it's led to some tension between Darth and the Emperor. Getting back to the main story of the book, Darth and Jabba kinda, I don't want to blow too much, but they somehow work out their differences, and then it leads to a special guest appearance by everybody's favorite bounty hunter of the Star Wars universe. I don't want to say too much about that as well, but I was certainly psyched, being as that's my favorite character right there. Anyway, really good book, really nice looking book. Salvador LaRocha's pencils were just awesome. He gets a lot of hate on certain websites I frequent, and I'm not really sure why that is. I think he's awesome. I've liked his stuff back since his Iron Man days, and he does a really good job here. Gillen does a great job with the storyline too. I actually think it's a better written book than the other Star Wars book. The other Star Wars book feels more like a tribute, where this feels like its own thing. It's like they're paying respect to the source material, but it's definitely its own original storyline, and I really like it. So I'm going to be back for issue #2, and in the meantime, I'm going to give this one 4.5 capes. Great start to the story. Next up, Batman and Robin #39 by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. So Damian Wayne Robin has been through a hell of a lot in the past few years. First he was dead, and now he's been brought back to life by his father, Batman, Bruce Wayne. Basically, he's come back with a vengeance. He's got a whole line of superpowers. He's like a mini Superman, like a Superboy sort of thing, that he acquired from this Chaos Shard. It's a whole big thing when he was resurrected. Anyway, the past couple of issues have been following him while he tries out his new powers. And this is more of the same. He takes on Killer Croc, Penguin, a bunch of big bads in the Batman universe in the beginning of the book, and he basically takes them up to the top of the troposphere and threatens them and tells them, you know, you better cut the shit out in Gotham City, or there's a new Robin in town, this is what's gonna happen to you. Intervenes and tries to teach Robin that with great power comes great responsibility. A lot of fun in this book. The artwork is awesome. Is it just me, or is Patrick Gleason becoming a better artist? I've been reading him back since Green Lantern Corps, and he seems to get better every year, and I don't want anybody else drawing Robin but him. He just does a terrific job of it. There's some great scenes in here too, some really witty stuff written by Peter Tomasi. There's a scene at the end where Robin meets up with Shazam of all people, who's actually a boy in a man's body with similar powers to what Robin has now, and they have a great sort of interaction there. And you just really get the feeling from that conversation that Robin's not your normal kid. Shazam's looking to play video games with him and all that, and Robin's not concerned with those things. He really is a junior Bruce Wayne, a junior Batman. Really enjoyed the book. The storyline's been cool so far. Looking to see where they go next from here, and I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 capes as well. A lot of high ratings, but the books have been good. What can I say? If they're bad, I'll trash them. You know that, but these have been good. $1 Million Men is a story set in the very near future. It focuses on this Illuminati group called the Club. They run everything in the world from behind the scenes, and nobody ever really gets to see them. They have all these lookalikes posing as them, giving speeches and meeting with the public, meeting with the press. And this story sort of focuses on one of those lookalikes. The lookalike is posing as a billionaire named Henry Frost, a very powerful person. And the person posing as Henry Frost is a guy named Drake Mitchell. And we see a little bit of his backstory. He was a teacher in a small town, he had a love interest sort of thing. but we don't really know how he got from there to where he is now. I'm sure that stuff we're going to find out in future stories. It's a real cool conspiracy theory sort of thing, very Manchurian Candidate-like, and I had a lot of fun reading it. Really keeps you guessing, has a real cliffhanger of an ending too. So I'm going to come back and check out more issues, but great start to the story. To purchase the book, go to fallingpair.com/$1,000,000 Men.